Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today could be the day that we wrap up everything. Actually, it should be. So I want to show you our monitoring setup. Let me show you. Where is this? Okay, so if you look at the URL, it says grafana.staging.errorbound.com. Okay, yeah, so yeah, perfect for now. So wait, something's not working. Think my face, sorry about that. Okay, I think you should now be able to see me. Yeah, some of the issues you get when doing a live stream. I should have tested this earlier. Let me see. Yeah, I think it should be okay now. All right, so yeah, everything is set up. And I know in the past we worked with Grafana and it was actually quite a success. So I'll not take a lot of time explaining the nitty-gritties of Grafana, of Prometheus. I'm very confident that anyone who has been following the channel from the beginning, actually not the channel, but this playlist, is quite confident about it. So I'm just going to show you, yeah, that it works, and then maybe explain a few things that I may not have touched way back when we discussed it. So of course we can log in. Okay, so I used my password manager to store the password, and I'm going to show you how you can reach this stage. So it says logged in. Okay, and this is nice. So you can go to the explore tab. Okay, and here, okay, in the label filters, we can choose the job, and we expect the backend job to appear. Okay, that's good. And we can actually choose the metric, say loading options. So you can choose any options, maybe HTTP requests total, and then you can run the query. So it's running. It needs a little bit of patience. So yeah, because now we're doing real network requests. It's not just from localhost. Okay, and by default, you should find Prometheus selected here as your data source. If you have another data source, you can of course select it. Okay, so this is taking time. Why? I don't know. You try to execute one of the endpoints, maybe /docs, and I say API. Okay, just to give it some activity. Can come here to metrics, click execute. All right. This is what I wanted. So yeah. So we have a query error. Okay. Yeah, sometimes things fail even when you're doing it live. Okay. Yeah. And the excuse we give, it was working. It was working yesterday. It was working yesterday. Yeah, but now we get an issue. Let me try to log out. So it says service temporarily unavailable. All right. I'll debug it, but at least you see, or you saw that we had some success. Yeah. So how do we get to having Grafana perfect? Okay. Maybe I'll do the fixes and then push so that you can check. Okay. Yeah. But probably there is a resource that is not available on the server, but of course, the solution is to first go to the logs, check out what is wrong, and then debug. For the pipeline, okay, or the GitHub actions, you can see that there is an update. We now have validate, Helm, and Argo CD. Okay, after we've validated the chart, we go on to the stage which provisions the infrastructure. Then after provisioning the infrastructure, we test, build, and deploy. And of course, now we have more credentials. Okay, not credentials, but CNAME values. Okay, and this time I created a new certificate, a new ACM certificate to help with enabling both the Grafana and the API using the same certificate. If I show you in AWS, you can see that I have a second certificate which has been issued. Okay, so what next? Of course, you have to register this with your DNS provider, like I showed you in the previous one. So make sure that you go ahead and do this. You see what's here? Okay, in the previous videos, we configured the DNS for the API staging. Okay, and this was the CNAME. So I made sure that the workflow outputs this for us. Then also I output the CNAME for the Grafana, can I call it dashboard? Okay, maintaining dashboard. But if you look at these values, it's actually the same thing. Okay, this value is identical to this. Very, very identical. We're using the same ALB, okay, in the same region. Yeah, but what you need to change is this. Are you seeing up here? Not change, but also add, okay? The ACM DNS credentials, not credentials, but maybe data, okay, for the Grafana staging, okay? It has to be this. And the same way we did it is the same way you should do it. In case you've forgotten, please check that video. You'll see. So you have to do for the API staging, okay, for the API endpoint and for the Grafana staging. Those two are quite important. So like always, after this, I will push the code to GitHub and you guys can make use of it. Yeah, I think that's all. The other thing I need to show you is, and by the way, before I go to the editor, there's a funny behavior I kept seeing. If you look at this and I refresh it, okay, at some point it would actually work. Okay, it's something I've noticed, but that's a bug, yeah, for us to solve. All right, let me now go to the editor and go through a few things. So yeah, like you see, I pushed everything, but I put markers. Okay, if you look at every end of file, there's a period. Okay, this period is just to help me identify a file I changed. So the first thing I can show you is the Helm, probably. Yeah, so Helm monitoring has a new Helm chart for monitoring. Okay, so if you come here to chart.log, you'll simply see that we have a dependencies. Our chart has two dependencies. The first one is Prometheus and the other one is Grafana. Okay, yeah, as simple as that. So yeah, we are pinning to this particular versions, as simple as that. And when we do the Helm command, okay, it helps us to get these two charts for Prometheus and Grafana. So I'll remove that. Okay, then move on to what have I done? Sorry, guys. This one is actually a chat.log. Okay, it simply logs the resolved dependencies. Sorry, but chat.yaml, okay, is where we actually create our chat. Okay, the name chat confused me. So we have chat.log and chat.yaml. So chat.yaml is where we actually have the chat format version, the name of the chat, the description of the chat, the type is application because we're going to deploy an application, and the version of this chat, and then the dependencies. Okay, Prometheus is version where we shall get the chat from, the Prometheus chat, which is a particular repository, and where we shall get Grafana. Okay, and this is its repository. Okay, we shall get Grafana from this repository, and this is the version, okay, of Grafana that we want. So chat.log, simply think of it as like a package.log, okay? For those of you who are used to Node.js or JavaScript, this is like a package .log of your package.json. Yeah, so I think that's it. So this just helps us to lock our resolved dependencies to particular versions. So you can remove this marker too. Yeah, so you can see that the monitoring chart is very basic and simple. Okay, what's this? Just a moment. All right. Now The other change I can show you is maybe in values.yaml. But values.yaml doesn't have actually much. We simply have config, okay, for Prometheus and Grafana. And most of it is actually disabled. You can enable some and experiment, okay? So like you see the alert manager is enabled false, okay? If you look at the RBC is also what? RBSC is also false, okay? Many of these things are false, okay? Yeah, so they are required by Prometheus and Grafana, but I didn't want to implement them, so I just set them to false, okay? Yeah, so you don't actually need them. But of course, in a production setting, you might need them, okay? So feel free to tweak and change. Actually, the production setup of this project is going to change. Okay, not to change, but it's going to have many of these things actually enabled. So like you see we have our Grafana here, okay? The same thing, okay? Where you set up the credentials for the admin, the role-based access control is also false. But what I wanted to show you is at the bottom. So look at this. Service type is cluster IP, okay, meaning for internal use only. Then what I want to show you, okay, where are we going to pick our data from? Okay, look here at the bottom. We have data sources, okay? We say the data source is called Prometheus. This is the name. So this name Prometheus refers to what we have right here, okay, on line 1. Then the type is Prometheus and the URL is simply that, okay? And you say the access is by proxy, and this is the default data source. That is why we find it already selected for us in the browser. Yeah, everything else is for example, this is the root URL to access it. This is the domain, okay, and stuff like that. So I won't spend time on the values.yaml. We know what a values.yaml gives us. So I'll remove this, okay, and we should be good with this. So yeah, that's it for the monitoring chart. Okay, so you can see that this monitoring chart is very, very basic. Okay, very, very basic. So I'll close this, close that, close this too. Then maybe take it to the GitOps. So for the GitOps, we have the project.yaml. So in this project.yaml, there's just a few changes. Okay, and let me scroll to find. So look at line 17. Okay, we add another destination. Okay, and the destination is going to be the same server, okay, where the Kubernetes control plane is installed, but it gives us opportunity to set up another namespace direction, and that namespace is called monitoring. Okay, so we can have another destination, just like we have error staging for the API, for the worker. Okay, we have the Doppler for the Doppler secrets stuff that we did, and then monitoring for our Grafana and Prometheus. As simple as that. Okay, I think that's it for this. I'll close. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask. Then we can go now to the monitoring itself. Okay, so monitoring, same thing. Okay, we define that this is an application. Okay, we give it a name and its namespace. So you realize all these belong to the Argo CD namespace. We have the sync wave being 1. We have a finalizer, okay, to give us the cascade operation. If we go to the repo, repo is the same. Yeah, everything is like the same concept, okay? Yeah, let me not waste time here. I'm trying to see something that is could be new, okay? Let me see what is new here. I don't see anything new. Everything is the same that we talked about in the previous video. The metadata is the same. Spec.project the same. Spec.source is the same. Spec.destination, I think the still monitoring is the same. Ignore differences. There's nothing here. Sync policy, nothing here. Yeah, pretty much the same concepts. So yeah, I think we're also done with this. Of course, if you're watching this for the first time, you'll see me skipping things and it won't make sense to you. Okay, you'll have to go back to the previous videos to understand what is going on. So yeah, we're done with the GitOps directory. I think I'll first go to Terraform. before I go to the workflow. So in Terraform here, variables.tf, we only added the Grafana host name, okay, giving us a default value of grafana.staging, not dot but dash, grafana-staging.airborneventures.com. Okay, as simple as that. So I will remove that. Okay, and of course you know that we do this to avoid Terraform prompting us to enter a value in the CI, because CI should work automatically when we're not looking at it. Okay, but if we need input to be entered, then it breaks the purpose of the automation. So yeah, that's good for variables. Outputs, yeah, we have a number of things. Okay, like the staging ALB ingress manifest. No, actually, we have the staging certificate validation records. Okay, yeah, that's what we have. Yeah, I think that's all I added here. Okay, but if case, let me see. In case there's anything I've not pointed to, I'm going to push the code and you will find it. So I think that's it. Main.tf, what did I add here? In main.tf, let me see. What did they add? Public load balancer, Kubernetes EKS staging. Wait. Yeah, I think this, I know, I don't think I changed anything here. Yeah, this one looks clean. Okay. Next, here in the TF TPL, let me see, what did I add? API version, kind, metadata is the same, spec is the same, group is the same, name select is the same. This if statement is the same. Here, API version, ingress, controller, API group. Yeah, all this is the same. Yeah, I don't know why I thought I made a change here, but this is the same. Okay, now I can go to SCM. Okay, in SCM, yeah, I just made changes to the certificate. Okay, yeah, but it's actually the same. Okay, yeah, it's actually the same. Nothing really, apart from maybe the comment that I put, but there's nothing here that changes. Yeah, so I'm seeing the domain, subject alternative names, validation method, the tags, lifecycle, still the same. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty much the same. I don't see any change here. Okay, so I'll delete this. Yeah, in case I said things are the same and there's confusion, please let me know in the comment section. So we get the scripts. I'll start from the workflow actually. Even the scripts, no problem. The validate, probably added a more files here that are required. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. You can do without this, by the way, but I just put it as an extra step just to increase my confidence that things are perfect. So the required files is okay. Repository file. Okay. And then I just did some RGs for the new required files. Okay, then you can see that some Grafana specific changes, like you see this, okay, saying Grafana must use its public HTTPS route. Okay, Grafana must read its admin credentials from the external secret. Yeah, so basically, can I say Grafana checks? Okay, yeah, that I added. Deploy role is missing. Okay. Yeah, so you may not need this, but I just put it for extra validation. So yeah, even down here, there's more Grafana validation. Okay. And the concepts are the same. Okay. So I don't, that's why you see me, I'm just perusing through it. I don't want to waste time. Okay. What else could have changed? Excuse me. So when you look at this, let me see what the top, pretty much the same. Okay. I'm looking for concepts that might seem strange and I've not talked about them, but everything else is pretty much the same. If you go to backend staging here, yeah, we have the same things. Yeah. But of course, wait, if you look at it actually, just a moment. This is the main one, okay? The main, and I call it the main file, okay, which calls other jobs, okay? So look at this. Let me do this for you to understand. So we have the validate, the infrastructure, and deployment like we did in the past. So validate simply performs this validation, okay, and uses that file, okay. Does a bash GitHub scripts validate ops. Simply run on this other validate GitOps file to do validation, okay. But that is after validating the Argo CD chat. And of course, to do that validation, you need this rep grep rather, okay? It has to be installed. That's why you have this step coming right here. So let's validate. After validate, we go to the infrastructure, okay? Which makes use of this other workflow file, okay? Which is this one here. Yeah, so I just put all the steps into, can I say, one. Let me see. I don't think there's anything here. Then also this other one here, deployment, calls the deploy backend staging, okay? Yeah, and both of them inherit. So if you look at this infrastructure, it needs validate. So meaning validate runs first, then we go to infrastructure. Then deployment also needs infrastructure. Okay. So I'll push this code and you guys can do your magic. The goal is to understand the concepts, to know what to break, what to change, what to remove, what to add. So I think that is it. I can close. Okay, so this is how, yeah, this is what you should expect. Then what else do I need to show you? If I add, okay, so just a summary, okay, just a summary. So I put everything that we have covered in a kind of MD file, okay, yeah, just to be like an overview of everything. So yeah, this application covers a lot, and the environment is basically Compose, like we all know, okay, and we have, sorry, I have this token. So we have the local application development using Compose, but also locally we can use Kubernetes, okay, using the K3D and Helm and the Doppler operator, okay. In production, the current production uses what? Compose, okay, and EC2. Then the production like staging is where we are using the EKS auto mode, as simple as that. Then for the front end, we have covered a number of things, okay. We've looked at the Next.js is what we are using, okay. I'm not sure if people learn front end anymore. So we have Next.js, we have the TypeScript 5 being used, Tailwind, okay. We're using Turnstack for server state management. We're using Zustand for the clear state management. I keep getting distractions today. Let me turn this off. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So yeah, this is what we covered in the front end. Okay. Yeah. The front end is actually very basic. There's nothing complex about the front end. The backend, like, we used Python and FastAPI. Okay. Our API style is the REST. We used Pydantic for validation. Okay. We used Typer to create a CLI utility. Okay. We have separate processes being handled by Kafka, as simple as that. And we're using Docker for the container. Okay. Then the basic architecture is that we have routers, we have schemas, models for our database. Okay. the infrastructure layer handling external services and database repositories, okay, and then the application layer, which handles our business use cases. And of course, we have ports and adapters, okay, for like our payment gateway, for Cloudinary, for Google and Redis and stuff like that. Basically, an adapter for caching, an adapter for flights, an adapter for payments, and for storage. What else comes to my mind here? Yeah, so this is just like a basic summary, okay? For the database, we use Postgres DB, and locally we use Postgres 16 in a container, but in the live environments, the remote environments, I'm using Neon Postgres SQL, okay? And for migrations, we're using Alembic. For caching, like I've already hinted, we use Redis, okay? And we're using the Redis PubSub for real-time communication, okay? In the front end, we simply use the event source object, okay, to catch those events. Then, of course, the staging environment is using the Elastic Search that we saw in the previous videos when I created them using Terraform. For messaging, we use Kafka, okay? The Python client is called Confluent Kafka, okay? And we have a local image, okay, that we use to run a Kafka container. Yeah, simple as that. So yeah, you can pause and take note of the things. External integrations, yeah, we have Amadeus, but one time we had moved to Dafo, okay, but it failed. We have a mock API for giving us flight data. For payments, we're using FastAPI, but it came with a lot of pain actually. They want more validation in certification from me, so I'm trying to think of another provider actually. I'm going to leave FastAPI. Okay. Yeah, for AI, we're using Google Gemini. Yeah, just to give us personalized emails. As simple as that for notifications. Nothing else. And of course, once Gemini fails, we have fallback. Security, yeah, we're using, of course, AWS IAM roles, trust policies, or IDC. Okay, we have GWT tokens being used, HTTP only tokens, password hashing, OAuth, cores. Okay, we have middlewares and the FastAPI guide agent integration. Yeah, containers. Yeah, this one we've done it again and again, so I cannot go through this. For Kubernetes and Helm, yeah, this is what we have passed. What is this again? Sorry. So for Kubernetes and Helm, this is what we have spent the past 6 or 7 videos discussing. Okay. Yeah, so I will not go through it. Secrets and configuration, the same thing. GitOps, also the same thing we've been doing for the past 6 weeks. Infrastructure, the same thing. CI/CD, we looked at metrics and monitoring, and of course we've done logging, testing. Yeah. So the whole goal was to just show you the concepts that we have covered, okay, in the front end, infrastructure, database, caching, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So the things that we not touched more on mostly are the mobile. Okay, for mobile, yeah, I only wanted to do mobile in case the web succeeds. In fact, when the web succeeds and the business is actually using the tool and there's demand for mobile, then we shall shift to mobile. So it should be a team to do that. Probably I'll get another developer, and the users must create a need for it. Yeah, then it was shared. It was meant for cross application logic, but yeah, it wasn't yet touched on. All right. And of course, I hope that you know that the EKS is only staging only. Okay. But to do a Kubernetes production, you can simply copy, okay, duplicate it, and then change the values and add a few more things. Okay. Even the staging environment can actually be made better. For actually the Grafana, okay, I was thinking if you wanted it to be better, you know that you can use what is called, you can use, sorry, you can use the GitHub OAuth. Okay. Yeah, GitHub OAuth can help you with that, whereby when you have like 10 developers, okay, and you want them to look at the monitoring of the staging environment, they simply use GitHub OAuth to access their Grafana instead of a password like I'm doing. And by the for your application, for your password stuff to work, okay, make sure you go to your GitHub, okay, settings, and set your password there, okay. The setup I've created will pick your password from your environment variables and set it for you, okay. So where is it? This one here, Grafana admin password, and like you can see, I set it 18 hours ago. So make sure you do that for yourself, and everything will be set up for you. Don't forget to set up the DNS like I told you, okay. In case you're lost, please check the previous video or videos how we set up for the API staging. The concept is quite the same. So I think I can delete this tab. Yeah, so that's a wrap. There's nothing much to do here. Like you can see, the Grafana is again working, but it's a bad sign. Something is wrong, okay. It works, goes off, works, goes off. So there could be an issue, okay. There could be an issue that we're not aware of, but I am going to investigate it, okay. So if I run query, you see it's now working, okay, and we get a lot of stuff. In fact, we can filter by a particular metric, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so you see this is what we get. If I go to bars, points, stacked lines, stacked bar, okay, yeah, that's what we get for now. But yeah, a lot can be done to improve this. If I expand results, you can see, okay, the handler, the instance, the job, the method, the status, okay. Okay, what else can I show you here? So time to investigate. Why is the Grafana on and off? Okay. All right, this has been a long project, but I guess everything comes to an end. Okay, everything comes to an end. So in the next time you see me, okay, should be talking about how to build AI agents, and I'll post in the community tab. So if anybody is interested, yeah, you'll join the Discord channel for that, and yeah, we can now talk about AI agents. So in the Discord channel, I'll be telling you when we can start it. So this is the end. Yeah, I will not, if I'm to do anything else about this project, it will be building an AI agent for whatever we are doing right now. But I think I've covered a long way. I've covered many concepts, and if someone put in genuine interest, okay, you can build a full stack operation. This operation, sorry, a full stack application for your clients. Yeah. So the main thing, like I always tell you, is understanding the concepts. And if you do understand the concepts, then you can do anything. Okay, so I think that is it. Yeah, nothing comes to my mind. So yeah, bye for now. See you in the Google Meet or Zoom meeting when we start talking about AI agents. Bye. I hope you all learned a lot from this.